The quickest way to be labeled crazy is to see the truth before everyone else is ready to admit it. That's the unwritten rule of life nobody talks about, but every chosen one knows too well. Long before the crowd catches on, you're already connecting dots, reading signs, and sensing shifts that others can't even spell out. And here's the funny part. People don't wait for proof. They hand you the crazy badge immediately, like you're collecting awards you didn't ask for. Meanwhile, deep down, they know you're on to something, and that's exactly what makes them nervous. Studies on human behavior show that most people react with denial, not curiosity, when faced with information that threatens their worldview. In simple terms, when you speak a truth that their minds aren't equipped to process yet, their first instinct is to reject you, not the idea. It's easier for them to believe you've lost it than to admit you saw further, thought deeper, and understood faster. And this is where your story gets interesting. Because every time they laughed, every time they rolled their eyes, every time they whispered, "Here they go again," life eventually wrote the exact script you predicted, line for line. Now they sit quietly, acting like they don't remember how loudly they doubted you. They do. Oh, they do. They're just hoping you forgot. There's a certain suspense to being the one who warns people before the storm, only to watch them blame the rain. It's almost comedic, like watching someone walk straight into a wall you told them was right there. Then they turn around offended, rubbing their forehead saying, "Why didn't you tell me?" This topic isn't just about being right. It's about the strange burden of being aware, intuitive, and spiritually ahead in a world that worships denial. It's about how your foresight became their fear and your accuracy became their embarrassment. They called you crazy because you saw the truth too early. And now that everything you said has unfolded exactly as you predicted, those same people are suddenly very, very quiet. Let's talk about why this happens and what it really reveals about you. People didn't call you crazy because you were wrong. They did it because you were right too early. You saw things plainly that others were still struggling to understand, and instead of admitting they didn't get it, they tried to make you the problem. Your clarity became a threat, not because it was loud or dramatic, but because it showed them the truth they were trying to avoid. When someone speaks a level of honesty that cuts through the fog other people rely on, the easiest defense is to label that honesty as madness. You weren't overreacting, overthinking, or being too deep. You were simply processing reality in real time while others were still emotionally stuck, mentally scattered, or spiritually asleep. You didn't need proof. You didn't need confirmation. You saw the pattern, felt the energy shift, understood the motive, and recognized the outcome long before it arrived. That kind of clarity isn't common, and uncommon things often scare people who depend on predictable thinking. Your insight exposed their uncertainty. You highlighted the cracks in their logic without even trying. You made them confront the fact that they weren't paying attention, and instead of appreciating that, they took it personally. It's much easier for someone to call you delusional than to admit they missed the obvious. It protects their pride, it shields their ego, and it keeps them from having to level up mentally. What they called crazy was actually your sharp awareness operating in a room full of blurred vision. You weren't trying to outsmart anyone, you just refused to pretend you didn't know what you knew, and that alone made people uncomfortable. They wanted simple answers, surface explanations, and half-truths that helped them sleep at night. You gave them reality. You gave them depth. You gave them understanding. And for people who weren't ready to grow, that felt like confusion being exposed in broad daylight. Now that everything you said has come true, their silence isn't just quiet, it's revealing. They weren't afraid that you were crazy. They were afraid that you were right.